Q&A session. Your presenter today is my fellow retention coach, Craig. As a retention coach, Craig draws upon his extensive industry experience to advise our partners on their member experience and how our software can enhance this. Craig joined TRP in October 2014 and has been in the health and fitness industry for over 17 years, 7 of which he spent as the club manager. This month, Craig will answer the question, can you afford not to listen to your members? Looking at how the Net Promoter Score can help your club. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to Craig and we can begin. Thank you.
Hello everybody, and as Jill said, we're going to be covering today, can you afford not to listen to your members? First slide that I thought was a really interesting one was just looking at the perceptions. So who do we trust? And ultimately, who do our customers trust? And some research into customer perceptions, we found that 84% of customers trust recommendations from people that they know, comparing to 68% trust online reviews, 61% trust newspaper adverts, 57% trust outdoor billboards, and 48% trust advertisements that are paid for on search engines. So by far and away, the area that we trust the most is when other people recommend like businesses or services to us. So the areas that we're going to focus on today, we're going to be focusing on what is Net Promoter Score. We're going to look at 5 benefits of tracking your member NPS score and how do you successfully implement NPS into your club. So let's start off with what is NPS. So NPS was created by Bain & Co in 2013, and it was to help companies measure and evaluate customer loyalty. The lead person on this was Fred Reicheld, and he was a partner at Bain & Co, and he helped create a new way of measuring how customers perceive these organizations, and these views had statistical links to overall business growth. So NPS works by sending a quick 1-question survey to your customers and asks them how likely is it that you would recommend either the company or a product to a friend or colleague. So the question has a 0 to 10 rating scale for respondents to answer, with 10 being extremely likely to recommend and 0 being not at all likely. So the NPS scores are then broken down into 3 categories. So you have your promoters, and your promoters are real raving fans who keep buying from your company, and they urge other friends to do the same. And on this scale of 0 to 10, they're going to be scoring you guys as a 9 or a 10. Our passives, they're our customers who are satisfied. They're our fence sitters. They're our customers who can easily be wooed by other competition, and they'd be scoring us as a 7 or an 8. And our detractors are our unhappy customers they're at risk, and they're risky because they're the customers that are most likely to spread bad word about our businesses, and they would score us between a 0 and a 6. So you calculate your Net Promoter Score by finding out the percentage of promoters, and then you subtract it from the percentage of detractors. So if a company had a promoter score of 70% and a detractor score of 15%, then your NPS score would be 55. But why do these comments matter? So all these comments that we can potentially get from our customers, why do these matter? And it's almost like a rule of 80%. So promoters actually account for 80% of referrals in most businesses, so absolutely huge. But on the flip side, detractors account for 80% of the negative word of mouth, so equally as bad, as it were. Promoters generally have much lower defection rates than other customers, so it means that they stay with you guys longer. They're a lot more profitable with that relationship within your business. And NPS has been evaluated in thousands of different companies and across multiple industry sectors. And on average, an industry leader with regards to NPS outgrows the average competitors by a factor of at least 2 times or greater. But what are the benefits of using NPS to your business? And we've come up with 5 benefits that we think would really help, definitely in the fitness industry. So number one was measuring your success. So NPS, excuse me, is a better way to measure customer loyalty rather than just customer satisfaction. So it recognises that measuring customer satisfaction isn't enough. So companies must understand how loyal their customers are in order to better gauge how happy they are. So other systems don't have the links between the improvements in customer loyalty to actual business improvement and business growth. And by asking one question, you can understand how happy your customers are, then ask the same question and see the changes. So this gives your business accountability. You can see if what you've been doing is having a positive or a negative impact on your overall customer experience. But why is that so powerful? If we were to review customer satisfaction benchmarking and assess what percentage of your customers are satisfied and compare this to percentage that leave, some people would be shocked to hear that 80% of people that leave us are actually satisfied. So the value of NPS is it goes beyond looking at satisfaction levels, measuring instead customer loyalty. So loyal customers have an affinity to our services or to our products, and they're very unlikely to use another company. Benefit number two, so prediction of dropout, so our customers that leave us. So, excuse me. So we've done a great deal of research using NPS and around customer retention as a whole. So what else can NPS tell us about our members? So our research has shown that on average, members who gave detractor scores visited significantly less in the following 12 months. And other pieces of research that we've conducted, we know that retention reveals that members who visit less often are those that are the highest risk of dropout of exercise altogether. So there's a really strong correlation between our detractors, so the people who are coming less often, who are likely to come less often, compared to making sure people, our customers, are our promoters. And if we tie that into some other research we completed, if we're looking at actually cancellation rates based on NPS groups, we can see from the comparison of the NPS scores to the cancellation rates on the graph that members who have given a detractor score have a higher proportion of cancellations in the following months than those who either gave a passive or a promoter score. So those passive and promoter scores are actually quite close together, but our promoters are the least likely to leave us. Those high-risk people are really, really likely to leave. So that NPS score can also give us that opportunity to engage with those high-risk customers much earlier than previously possible. So before the more visible signs of disengagement start to show. So once a member starts to become unhappy, they lose motivation, and the visits to your club become less and less. So they're hurtling towards cancellation at a great speed. And the key thing that NPS allows us to do is to help stop this at a much earlier point in that customer journey. So the most ineffective time to try and win somebody back is when they're standing at your counter waiting to cancel. So NPS could actually be more effective as a way to re-engage with the customers before they get to that point where sometimes an intervention is absolutely impossible. And we'll run through how you might be able to do this with something called a closed loop process a little bit later on. Our third benefit for us to talk about today is increasing customer loyalty. So most companies want customers to be happy. The challenge is really to know what your customers think about you. So NPS gives you the metric to better effectively measure that customer loyalty so that you can work on ways to increase it. Since you track member happiness using NPS from one survey period, and we can keep comparing them from period to period, you'll be able to close the loop on our detractors and understand if those detractors, if we're actually being able to improve their experience. And ultimately, this could feed into your company strategy. So you can implement improvement plans based on actual customer perception rather than our gut feelings and our hunches on what we think our customers want or what we think our customers feel about the service that we're delivering. The fourth benefit, creating raving fans. So the NPS score lets you really understand how many of your customers are really passionate about your business. So an NPS score of 50% is considered good. So with half your customers being promoters, actively telling other people about your products, about your services. So why not use these advocates of your business to help with your day-to-day operations and promote your business? Some of the companies that we work with use these ambassadors, use these fans to help things like new users, people like new users, with things like exercise classes to make sure that they feel comfortable in their new environment. And that probably assists in two ways. It makes that new customer feel less uncomfortable, and comfort is a factor that's associated with cancelling memberships. And it also makes those Raving fans feel an even bigger part of your club because they feel that you trust them with helping these new customers. Our fourth benefit is boosting revenue growth and membership yield. So NPS lets you focus on creating the Raving fans inside your business. We do need to make sure that we're making sure that the money's coming in at the same time, but it lets you focus on those Raving fans. And promoters are really powerful for a number of reasons. So as we said earlier on, promoters have got a much lower churn rate, and they have a much higher customer lifetime value compared to passives or detractors. Our promoters increase spending more than detractors. They're much more likely to be interested in new offerings, and they're also much more likely to be happy with using one supplier, so much less likely to jump around. The promoters are also less price sensitive, so they're not always looking for the best deal, the cheapest deal. And as we said earlier on, promoters account for 80% of referrals. So the more promoters that we can develop equals more referrals, and if we get more referrals, ultimately that's going to give us business growth. So we referred to some of the software that we work with customers on, and this is what I'm just going to run through now is how we suggest companies work to manage their NPS journey using our software. So the first stage is our automated systems let you collect NPS feedback from your customers. And you're going to get one of three responses. You're going to get a promoter or a passive, and you're going to get your detractors. And we're going to focus with the closed loop process on the detractors mainly. So what the automated system also lets you do, it lets you set up like automated thank you responses. So they're sent to everybody, thanking you for that feedback, letting you highlight that the feedback that they're giving is important to you, any type of feedback, any scores that they're giving, and you're going to use these to drive your business forward in the future. It also gives you the ability to target these messages that are going through to your promoters, your passives, or your detractors. So with groups like your promoters, you could be asking for referrals, or you could be offering guest passes to those Raving fans. So any detractor feedback, we suggest that it's going to come through, it comes through to something called a to-do list in the software, and it's recommended that we call these members within a maximum of 48 hours. The aim of this is to really gather as much information from that customer about the issues that they have that's making them use a score as a detractor. You'll agree some actions and agree some follow-ups. And in that time, the aim is for you to, we give you a 2-week window to try and find out what the issues were, try and put something right, and actually to try and get the customer to come back in again within 7 days, ideally. So you can try and show them that you can actually boost their happiness rating, what their perception of your club in that next 7-day window. So within 2 weeks, you recontact that customer, update them and gather feedback, maybe about their next visit or what you've put in place to make sure that you improve that happiness scale next time. And everybody is retested after 3 months, both the promoters and the passives, but our detractors are actually retested again within 28 days. So they come back into this cycle, because ultimately what we're aiming to do is we want to move those detractors to be promoters. We want more Raving fans. We want less people that spread bad word about us. So let's tie all that together. So just a summary of NPS. So successful businesses need customers. So drive your business through fact, not feeling. So if gut feeling and personal perceptions drive your operation, you could be moving in the opposite direction to your customers' expectations. Understand your customers' experience of your facility. So make sure you understand your customers' opinions of your business and aim to use all comments to improve this view of the customer for the customer. Highlight your at-risk customers. So ensure your comments program is helping you highlight customers that are at risk of leaving you and instill a process that really helps to reduce that risk. Ultimately, your customers are your best advertisement. Their endorsement to friends and family are more valuable than thousands of pounds that you can possibly spend in the marketing budget. If people are giving you bad reviews, you could be wasting your money. And target the right people in your marketing campaigns. So your promoters mix with people like themselves. So if they like your business, other people are very much more likely to like your business as well. So use this knowledge to target the right people in your marketing campaigns. So what could we suggest might be the next steps to implementing something like NPS? So we suggest that you review your comment strategy. So do you get enough feedback from a wide range of customers to use this strategically? So do you get enough comments back from the customers, and can you use this effectively? Or is your comment system, say like on a paper-based system, where you only seem to get negative comments coming back through when people have got an issue, rather than something that's constantly asking for comments from all of your customers on a regular basis? Do you close the loop? So follow up and detractor comments and put the issues right. So don't say things like, well, the reason that's happened because that's what we've always done. Ultimately, businesses need to change with the times, and our customer comments help us understand the direction that we should be taking them in. Our aim shouldn't be, we shouldn't just aim to satisfy, so aim to exceed expectations and make sure your members know that their feedback will drive your business. So you need to make your customers feel that their comments will make a difference. And ultimately measure your success. So track your comments process to ensure that you understand how effective detractor conversations are. These initial difficult conversations are an opportunity to create raving fans. And ultimately, if you're not making a difference, if the conversations that you're having aren't changing the majority of your customers from promoters to passives to your raving fans, then you need to do something different. We need to move with the times. So that's the end of my slides deck for today, and I think Julie is going to run through any questions that you might have posed as I've been talking.
Thank you, Craig. Yes, we have one question here from Adam. Thank you very much for posting this. One main problem we have is if a member has not used a site, they will score it 0. For that reason, this affects our overall NPS score and gives us a lower average with more detractors. How do we combat this?
I would probably suggest it's maybe with customers like that, it's probably quite often it's the first time they've received that sort of message. So once you get the automated message that comes through and lets them know that you're going to be asking them about the comments on a regular basis, then yeah, they're probably much more likely to understand it. The other thing you might just be mindful of doing is if you actually just explain, so phone that customer up, explain to them actually the concept of what you're doing with these NPS scores. Maybe don't explain how you score it and tell them to score you a 9 and a 10, but just be telling them that, yeah, you're scoring the overall business. So, okay, they haven't scored an individual site, but hopefully they've used one of the facilities and they're given all of the business a score rather than I haven't used that individual centre. Any others, Jules?
No, Craig, that's everything for the moment.
So we'll just maybe wait 30 seconds, a minute to see if there's any other questions that come through. As you can see though, if you do want to know more about how NPS can benefit your club, feel free to either contact me on the details that are up on the screen, or you can go through to the Retention People website. You'll be able to, if you want to speak to anybody there, we can point you in the right direction for your representative in your relevant area.
Craig, sorry just to interrupt. Lisa's just asked if you could put up the slide again, please, for the next steps.
Next steps, yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Lisa.
I think the next thing I was just about to say, Lisa, was also that our marketing team will send out a slide deck for covering all the slides that we've gone through today. So everybody that's registered on the webinar should receive these from one of our marketing team, James. So yeah, don't feel like you need to scribble down all the text that we've got on the screen at the moment, because we'll make sure we get these across to you.
And sorry, Craig, I know you're going to send it around, but would you mind just going to the slide before this one, please?
Cool.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Okay, so I'll pop my email address back up on the screen again. If you do have any other questions, feel free to drop me a line, and I can answer them as soon as I can for you. Our next webinar is exactly the same time of the month. Next month, the topic next month is retention a gym thing? It's on Tuesday, the 29th of September, same time again, and you can log it. You can register interest in that on the web address at the bottom. Again, if we'll send across these slides to you, and that web address will be included on there. So I think we'll leave that as thanks very much for attending today. And as I said, any questions, feel free to give us a shout. If not, we will look forward to speaking to you all again next month.